It is Memorial Day. If you're watching this on YouTube, it's the day after Memorial Day. And I am going to make this quick because the associate producer has woken up from his nap earlier than expected against scheduled programming. So I'm going to read to you quickly my husband's list of medical conditions which the VA decided were not service connected. Why am I doing this? Well, actually, I've been meaning to show you all this for a while because I frankly find it fascinating that something like traumatic brain injury is a pre existing condition for a Marine who did 5 combat tours in Iraq and Afghanistan, and along with a bunch of other stuff. And why am I doing this on Memorial Day? Because I used to be somebody who gave speeches like this guy. I was a journalist who was invited as somebody who covered veterans issues. I was often invited to give speeches, which I did. One time at the VA in, I think it's Clearwater, somewhere around South, Central South Florida. I'm gonna say Largo, Clearwater. I was a Tampa reporter. I can't remember exactly where Bay Pines is, but anyway, the Bay Pines VA hospital. And I was very honored. I mean, I still am very honored that they asked me to give this speech, but I was also very naive about war at the time and frankly about how our government handles veterans issues. And so I gave a lot of speeches like this without realizing what was going on behind the scenes. And then over time, I started to see, especially as a wife of a veteran, how a lot of this works. And then I got into the alternative media world and started to learn more about why we were really going to war in many cases, if not most cases. And what happens to veterans in combat, for instance, like, are they supported by their military higher ups? Are they supported by the government? Uh, True story. My mother in law used to have to send my husband gear from Cabela's to Iraq because they didn't have basic things when they were sent over there. So that was all such a huge learning experience for me. And I figured, maybe there are a lot of other people out there who would be kind of blown away to see some of this stuff. And I think maybe just a little bit of a nudge to no one in the government is watching my show. So they're not going to really do anything after this. So I'm not expecting this to go anywhere. But just kind of a nudge to those of us who may be still living under this impression that our government cares about veterans, that these speeches mean anything. And, I remember one time back when I used to get really angry about it all, because I had this transition where I was like, very, I'd give these speeches and I felt very meaningful about it all. And I'd always tie up my speeches with like a bow at the end, um, life is going to be good and hopeful and everything's awesome. These are the people, who have given all for the country, and then we all just kind of go on our merry way the next day. And I used to do that. So then I went from that to like being very angry, and I would watch these speeches like what you're about to see with Biden. I remember watching Trump's speech, and I would see how they would reference the widows and the mothers of the dead veterans. And I'd see their tears and just their gripping, their hands are white, white knuckle hands. They're just absolutely broken, just broken. And I'm like, I cannot listen to this politician anymore give these trite phrases about what this day is while watching this woman or whoever the family member is absolutely lose it because their entire world has fallen apart, and act like that this system is okay, like that everything that's happening, it's just, look, it's all perfect and some of us just have to give our lives for it. And that's just what it means to be an American. And now I don't like getting, that way anymore. I don't like want to wring their necks anymore. But I'm still very firm in my belief of the hypocrisy of so many of these speeches. I'm not saying everybody, and I don't want to like rain on everybody's Memorial Day parade. I just figured, this would be a day to say, hey, like what would Memorial Day really look like if you took this stuff actually seriously? If the government took seriously the cost of the lives of the people who sign up for service and the cost of the civilian lives in the countries where we send our service members. Um, what would Memorial Day really look like if we actually took all that stuff seriously? It wouldn't look like just a bunch of speeches and then life going back to corruption and forgetting the next day, which it often does. If it didn't, we would see a very different United States of America. And so, anyway, let me just play you this is not the beginning. This is like, almost towards the end of his speech today, Biden's speech at Arlington. I'll just play you just a little clip and then I'll go into some more.
Idea, unlike any idea in human history, the idea of the United States of America. Today, we bear witness to the price they paid. Every white stone across these hills and every military cemetery and churchyard across America, a father, a mother, a son, a daughter, a brother, a sister, a spouse, a neighbor, an American. To everyone who has lost and loved someone in the service of our country. To everyone with a loved one still missing or unaccounted for. I know how hard it can be. It can reopen that black hole in the middle of your chest, bring you back to the exact moment you got the phone call, heard that knock on the door, or held the hand when the last breath was taken. I know it hurts. The hurt is still real, still raw. This week marks 9 years since I lost my son, Bo. Our losses are not the same. He didn't perish in the battlefield. He was a cancer victim from a consequence of being in the Army in Iraq for a year next to a burn pit. A major in the U.S. Army National Guard, living and working like too many besides that toxic burn pit. And as it is for so many of you, the pain of his loss is with me every day as it is with you. Still sharp, still clear. But so is the pride I feel in his service, as if I can still hear him saying, "It's my duty, Dad, it's my duty." Duty. That was the code that my son lived by and the creed all of you live by.
And that's,
Creed.
you know what? That's typically how it is. It goes like that. Your pain is real. It's hard. It's terrible. But we're all really proud. We're all really proud. And I used to give those speeches too, because I wanted to feel better about what was going on around me. So I would say but we're all really proud of their service. And yeah, the pain's real. But we're all really proud of their service. And so let me show you something in a second. I'm going to first tell you about one of my sponsors. In the event that you have an emergency, you're like me, and you are in need of an EpiPen, for instance. This is one of the medical freedom pharmacies, TELYRX, that has risen over the last couple of years, and you get 20% off with my website with them, TELYRX.club/AllisonM. I met them and found out about them through partially my experience with having a severe allergy now all of a sudden to hornets. And I wanted to get an EpiPen. I was told I needed to have one on me at all times because I could have anaphylactic shock. And I went to my pharmacy and they were going to charge me $500. I cannot afford that. So I left the EpiPen at the counter. Through a twist of fate, I ended up getting connected with TELYRX, and you can see that their EpiPen is $269. That's still very expensive. We could do a whole live stream on why EpiPens are so expensive, and you can get Narcan and go out and shoot somebody in the arm who's having a drug overdose for free. But anyway, that's a live stream for another day. If you are in need of something that you're nervous your doctor won't give you because of medical censorship, this is a medical freedom pharmacy where you are back in the driver's seat. They go direct to consumers. That's why the prices are a lot cheaper for different products. And, obviously a lot of my work is focused on natural health, but I know we all have emergencies every once in a while. Like for me, I don't love the fact that I have to pop Benadryl and have an EpiPen on me at all times, but I can't die on the farm while I have two kids in tow. So or at least I'm going to try not to die of this. I can't promise you that my animals are not going to come attack me at some point. Probably my animals will revolt for being on YouTube so often. Anyway, so TELYRX.club/AllisonM, 20% off your order. Let me know what you think. So, all right. Let me go to the list, the long-awaited list, because I know you guys want to see this. So this is recent, from Lynn's most recent list of let me see here. Okay, here, Lynn's recent list of disability claims. And this is everything that he was denied. And you tell me, like, he signed up when he was 17. All right. So I just like putting this out there. He didn't sign up at 35 after a bunch of motorcycle accidents. He signed up at 17. Service connection for traumatic brain injury is denied. Service connection for bilateral hearing loss is denied. And let me just I should probably give you a little bit of perspective on this too. He was a jump master. He's probably done hundreds, like 400 plus, more than that. Jumped out of airplanes, some at 30,000 feet with oxygen. Okay. Landing with these huge packs on his back. And he was special operations. So like walking for gazillions of miles in the desert and living next to burn pits and all that stuff. All right. Service connection for bilateral hearing loss. By the way, multiple explosions around him during combat. Okay. Like huge, bombs going off and stuff like that. Service connection for bilateral hearing loss is denied. Service connection for right shoulder condition is denied. Service connection for right elbow condition is denied. Service connection for peripheral neuropathy, left upper extremity, claimed as tingling and numbness through body, is denied. Service connection for peripheral neuropathy, right upper extremity, claimed as tingling and numbness through body, is denied. Service connection for thoracolumbar strain, that's back pain, I think, claimed as spinal stenosis, is denied. Service connection for right ankle condition, claimed as right ankle pain, is denied. Service connection for left ankle condition, claimed as left ankle pain, is denied. Service connection for bilateral pes planus, claimed as right and left foot pain, is denied. A duty to assist error has been identified during the higher level review for migraine headaches, also claimed as cluster headaches. So he might make some progress on the headaches. But the thing that one of the things that is just laughable to me, that I mean, like in a sad way, is traumatic brain injury. I mean, traumatic brain injury is denied. Like how do you deny a veteran who has been around multiple explosions? How do you deny that their traumatic brain injury was related to service? So, man, I'll tell you what, that's what it's like dealing with the VA. I'm not even trying to make this like about, our family struggles or anything. I just, I don't have anybody else's medical record, so I can't show you theirs. I figured I would just show you Lynn's, because that's what it's like day to day. And then when I started to see what it's like for him to battle the VA, I'm over these ceremonies. I'm over the ceremonies. I think if you're not a drinker, you don't drink wine, you should do this, because you join the club, you get all the cool information about all the wines, and then you always have a great bottle of wine to bring to whatever get together you're at. You could take it to, I don't know, whatever, Labor Day parties, whatever the next holiday is that's coming up. Father's Day. You always have a great bottle of wine on hand, because you're going to get 6 new bottles every 3 months. So every quarter you get 6 new bottles. These are all amazing, fine wines for the price of a regular bottle of wine. And you're going to hear where they come from and why they taste great, and the farming practices, and who picked the grapes, and how long the vineyard's been there, and where it's located, and how they ferment, and all that good stuff. Stuff you'll never know if you just go to the grocery store on the way to the party. And this way you always have a supply, because you're going to join the club. You'll get 6 bottles every 3 months, and you'll have one in hand. And it comes with a great story, because you support my work. It's an anti-censorship company, very pro-free speech company, makes a great gifts, and you could just drink it yourself if you don't have anybody you like enough to give the wine to.